All right. So thank you very much, Miss Martins, for joining us today. Thank you very much. I'm really, really grateful. I believe that everybody who is on here and who would have the opportunity to watch or follow this video, even on YouTube, would benefit from your great experience. I mean, walking through the number of years you had to wait until when you backed the prestigious Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. So without much ado, I'll give the floor to you to introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are.
Thank you very much, Patrick. But before I start, I would like to first of all say thank you to you for this amazing opportunity. And I think it's very timely because most programs like this come on during the scholarship circle. So it doesn't give prospective candidates the time to prepare for a wonderful application. So this is very, very timely and is a good thing. Thank you so much. So my name is Mercy Martins and I'm Nigerian. So hello to the Nigerians that are going to watch this and to our Jollof rivals, the Ghanaians and everybody. Hello to everyone. I have my BSc, let me start from where I am currently. So I am a doctoral researcher at the University of Bath, but I did my BSc in Nigeria at the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University. So after my BSc, as a result of the fact that I broke an academic record, I was already considered to be an ideal candidate for a scholarship abroad. So I applied, not once. I'm going to get into that later. But then I ended up getting the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship to do my master's at the University of Bristol, where I did my master's in development and security. And then later on, I came back to continue my PhD at the University of Bath, where I am currently working on decolonization with a lot of focus on language and education. And since they say charity begins at home, my case study is going to be with my home language, which is the Ika language. So I think my experience with Commonwealth and other scholarship, I think has given me a lot of insight into how to demystify the whole Commonwealth application process, I think. So thank you for this. Thank you for having me.
Great. And we are very, very happy to have you here. So we would zoom straight into our conversation. I would like to know the most significant discovery about yourself between when you started pursuing scholarships until when you backed the prestigious Commonwealth Shared Scholarship.
Oh, that's a very interesting question. I think one has to sit down and think about it a bit. But when people ask this question, it is very normal for people to say the scholarship experience taught them to be resilient, to be patient, that they are tenacious and the rest of it. But I think there are two things, two very important things that this experience taught me, and I'll go into each of them. One of them is time. So earlier on, I had this illusion of how I wanted my life to be, and the time frame was so set in stone that nothing could change it. And if anything changed it, I was going to not achieve anything at all. So I think not being able to get the scholarship the first time made me realize that time itself is an illusion. So everybody listening to this, just because you haven't gotten a scholarship doesn't mean you're running out of time. What is time? It is actually a creation of human beings. So I think the more you wait for something, the more you appreciate it when you get it. This doesn't take away the fact that when you get something, it's actually very rewarding. So I think when I didn't get the scholarship the first time, I was almost very sick, right? Because I felt like my whole world was crashing in. And that was my first real encounter with failure or failing to get in or rejection, so to speak. So I think it made me feel down. I was a bit depressed, but not really. I'm trying to watch my words because many people in different fields will watch this. I wasn't depressed, I was just very down. But it made me realize later on that I have all the time. So even if I do my master's when I'm 22, or I do my master's when I'm 25 or 28, I'm still going to do my master's. So this illusion of time is something the scholarship journey taught me. Then the second thing was the power of networking. So I think I met you during this journey, and look at us now. And I have met with incredible people in my life that I don't know how I would have survived or my present situation without, right? But I wouldn't have met them if I've gotten the scholarship the first time I tried. You understand? But when I didn't get it, I became interested in finding a community where many people were applying so that I could learn from them. It is by joining those communities that I actually met people like you, and you have been very instrumental to my life. And just to put it out there, this particular person you're talking to won multiple Commonwealth scholarship, and he rejected them all. Just putting it out there. So I think those are the two things, if I'm going to be very sincere and if I'm digging deep, that I felt this whole experience taught me.
Interesting. I mean, I kind of like, or I love the discoveries between when you started pursuing the prestigious Commonwealth Shared Scholarship until when you bagged it. I mean, it's very, very interesting. And I think people that would be watching this would benefit from this great insight, right? Right. So, what is it about this prestigious Commonwealth Shared Scholarship that everybody is all about it? I mean, it attracts thousands and thousands of applicants in the Commonwealth regions and all that. What is it about? What are the requirements or the eligibility requirements? What is the package, scholarship package like? What makes it, I mean, that's big scholarship that everybody would want to be on?
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to say something that is like very controversial, and I don't care because I'm a Commonwealth alum, right? So Commonwealth is arguably the biggest scholarship anybody can get. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. And I know people from Chevney, MasterCard will have a lot to say in the comment section. I don't care. I'm going to stand on my ground because, well, to me, it is the biggest, and that is why there's a lot of fuss about it. So aside from obviously my subjective perception about Commonwealth, so the beautiful thing about Commonwealth is that I think there's a lot of dimension to it. So first of all, with Commonwealth, there are different types, right? There's the PhD type and then there's the master type. But for the focus of this conversation, we're going to be focusing on the master type. Now, in the master scholarship for Commonwealth, there are two types, right? The Commonwealth Masters and the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. Now, the only difference between these two of them is that the Commonwealth Masters, they are what they call bodies in your country that will nominate you, whereas in the Commonwealth Shared, the university itself nominates you. Now, I'm also going to say something again very controversial, and don't take my word for it, but this is a conversation, so I think I have some right to be a bit subjective, right? I know a lot of people that applied for the Commonwealth Masters and they didn't get in, but then again, using that same essays, when they applied to the Commonwealth Shared, they got in. So I would deduce that even if you're applying to the Commonwealth Masters, if you really want to have a really good shot in an objective manner, you should apply to the Commonwealth Shared. Now, the Commonwealth Shared is very easy to apply to. It's just more or less like most scholarship we have, of which the requirement is that you must come from a Commonwealth country. From the name, you know it's a Commonwealth country, apparently. You should come from a Commonwealth country, either as a citizen or have refugee status. You should live there. You shouldn't have maybe worked maybe in the UK or US for more than a year, which is high income countries for more than a year. You should be unable to afford to go to these countries without a scholarship, right? Now, I'm saying all these things because I'm leaving the nitty gritties for last, which is about your class of degree, right? Now, first of all, you should be able to start the scholarship. You should be able to travel during the scholarship circle, which means if you're applying for 2025, you should be done with your academic requirement to travel that time. But then again, you need to have a first class or a 2-1. Now, people confuse this to be that if you don't have a first class or a 2-1, you can't get a Commonwealth scholarship, and that's not true. If you have a 2-2 and you have a master's degree from your home country, you can still apply, which means it accommodates everybody in the mix. So it's not a scholarship for first class or 2-1 students, it's a scholarship for everyone. And then you should have your documentation. So if you're planning to travel, I would advise you your international passport, your transcript, your certificate, all those things, you should actually take care of them so that when you get the scholarship, nothing holds you back. Do you understand? So I think aside from, let me think, aside from all these things that I have just said, what else do we think you need to get a Commonwealth scholarship? Yeah, the most important thing and why it's very interesting, you don't need to have so much money to apply for the scholarship because when you get the scholarship pays for your flight ticket to and fro. Yeah, to and fro um, your country of departure, which means that you don't have to worry about paying for scholarship. And then they pay you a stipend, a livable stipend throughout your stay for the scholarship, which is a year for the master's. So I think it checks all the box. It is quite easy. And so it checks all the box. It is quite easy. And then before you apply for the scholarship, you don't need to pay for anything, actually, except you're applying to certain schools that have this application fees. I think I was talking to Patrick about, you see UCL, they wanted you to pay some money about for application fees. Most of these schools, when you send them an email saying that you're applying under the Commonwealth umbrella, they waive it. Some of them, they don't waive it. So it's a matter of choice. But then you're not limited to applying to a particular school that you need to pay for. So if you don't have money to pay for those schools, you can apply to another one, and that's the beauty of Commonwealth. It offers you a range of choices to choose from. So I think I should just keep it there, so we'll have a lot to talk about in the next somewhere around the middle or something.
Great, thank you very much, Mercy. So talking about this Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, so when you apply for the scholarship, does that mean that you'd be given an outright admission into a university, or I mean, you would have to apply for this university and then also apply for this scholarship separately, and then I mean, once you are selected for the scholarship, just walk us through.
Yeah. That's a very, very insightful question, Patrick. And I'm very sorry that I actually forgot to add that. So there is this misconception that when you apply for the scholarship, you're applying for the school. No. So ideally, so in common when you go to the Commonwealth page, they have this list of schools for the shared, right? I'm going to speak more on the shared because I have a working knowledge on the shared. There's a list of schools that Commonwealth provide scholarship to particular courses, right? So now it is your job, aside from applying to the scholarship, to apply to those schools for those courses, right? So for you to get a scholarship, you should have already gotten an admission, or you should be in the process of getting an admission to that university unconditional, or if it's a conditional admission, it should be financial reasons in that university to study that course. And also, people think that you can only apply to maybe one course for Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. I'll just say something. I won't give you an answer. I applied for 7 courses. So do whatever you want to do with this information. That's all I can say.
Thank you very much. That's very, very deep and exciting to clarify some of these things, because it to a larger extent confuses a lot of people. That I mean, once you apply for the scholarship, that is it. You need to get the scholarship before you apply for admissions. But you can do both of them concurrently, right? And there is no way you would get the scholarship if you are denied admissions. So it would make lots of sense to apply for admissions and to the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship concurrently, right? Great. So we'll now move into ask Miss Mercy Martins how she aced her application, because look, she got entry into 2 scholarships. 2, she won 2. She was nominated for 2. So she must walk us through what she put inside of a application that made it strong, solid, very coherent, and collected, that the reviewers or the assessors found it worthy to be nominated in 2 different big or huge universities. Miss Mercy Martins, please, you have the floor.
I think it is very funny for when Patrick say I got 2 scholarships. why is Patrick not talking about how he got about 7 of them? Because he also got them. So I think after I finish speaking, Patrick should also tell us how he got them and why he rejected them. But I think before I start, I think there are certain myths, like I was talking to you the other day, some myths about Commonwealth that I think needs to be clarified, right? I think the first one was about the first class thing, where people feel that you have to get a first class before you can get into the scholarship. That is not true. I want to categorically say that with your 2-1, you can get a Commonwealth scholarship. With your 2-2 with a master's, you can get a Commonwealth scholarship. During my time in Bristol, I had a lot of friends that got that I knew a lot of friends, not just in Bristol, but also across, because Commonwealth provides some regional and some events for all of us, both regional and university wise. They didn't make a first class; they had 2-1s, and I think making because this is also going to tie to how I wrote my essay, because most people feel like because they have a first class, they can write anything and need to give them scholarship. That is not true, because scholarship is not really just about you having a first class. It's about seeing potential in what you want to do. So don't be discouraged if you don't have a first class. You also have a shot at a Commonwealth scholarship. In my opinion, you even have a better shot because you're going to put more hard work. You're going to you will sell yourself more, and then you become more appealing. And also, funny enough, there's this thing that people talk about experience when it comes to Commonwealth. So some sort of people feel like with Commonwealth you need experience, or some sort of people feel like with Commonwealth you don't need experience. I will say this again, which is also going to be very controversial. This is why Commonwealth is better than Chevening, right? Because for Chevening, as a young student like me and you guys, we don't have a shot because we don't really have a lot of experience, right? But with Commonwealth, there is no like hierarchy of whether you have experience or not. If you don't have experience, you have a great shot. If you have experience, you have a great shot. So there is no discrimination. Just sell yourself and they give you the opportunity. Unlike some other scholarship that you need to have experience to get the scholarship. So you see why Commonwealth is quite interesting. And then, although even though it's interesting, I think the issue about staying back becomes a problem, because all of you that are going to be applying for Commonwealth, you know that when you with Commonwealth, after your academic year, you're supposed to go back. This is because your whole essay is talking about what you want to do in your in your home country, right? So how would you do all those things you talked about if you don't go back to your home country? But then most people they use Commonwealth as a way to leave the country. Let's be honest, it's not a bad thing. But if you want to stay back, there are other ways for you to stay back, like getting a PhD, like getting a government-sponsored job. These are avenues for you to stay back. So now that I've actually like cleared this air, now what key things did I think about when writing my essay that made it more interesting, or make it stand out across the board? So it's a very simple tip, and I think everyone listening to this, if you follow this trick, I think you will get the scholarship, in my opinion. But then this is a disclaimer. I'm not saying that if you follow it, because apparently this is social science, so it doesn't have to work for everybody. So the point is this: when you apply for a scholarship, think about it like you're telling a story, right? So in academics, when we go to schools or in secondary schools, we're always competing, right? We're competing to take maybe first position or make A's. So think of it as a battle, but instead of fighting with your hands or anything, you're fighting with your words, right? So you need to have a very compelling and strong storyline for someone to believe you and want to pick you, right? Or announce you winner. So Commonwealths have 11 essays, right? Divided in four structures. Divided in four structures, right? Four sections. Now, most people feel like when they're answering these questions, they should answer these questions based on the sections. But the problem they fail to see is that the entire Commonwealth essay is one storyline. They're just asking you one thing, right? What what do you want to go and study? Why do you want to study this? How can this help you in developing your your country? And what experiences have you had that makes you the best person for this particular role? It's a simple question, but then they answer it in a divided way. So they don't have a coherent storyline. So I think the first thing to do is to get a piece of paper and ask yourself, what course am I applying for? See, another trick is that if you're applying in the same thing, you can apply to like different courses. For example, I apply to international development, I apply to development and security, I apply to gender and development. They're all development. Do you understand? So you just need, okay, I'm looking at applying to these schools that focus on development, that focus on a particular team. So this particular team, what SDG goals are keyed into this team, right? Like reducing inequalities, partnership with other partnership and strong institutions. These are like SDG goals, I think 10, 16, and 17, so to speak. I may be wrong. I think 8 or 10, and then 16 and 17. So these are the three SDG goals you're looking at. You write them down. You write down the topics or the courses or the courses you're applying for, like development related courses. I'm using mine particularly to give an example. Now, you have the course, you have the SDG goals. Now, why do you want to study this course? You ask yourself, these are questions you just take, you can take like, because with the timing of this particular conversation, you have some time to think about it, right? You ask yourself, why do I want to study this course? So let's say, for example, I want to study this course because there's a lot of children in Nigeria again, because I'm from Nigeria, that are out of school, or maybe you were going out someday and then you saw a lot of children hawking sachet water on the road, and then you're wondering why are they not in school? Now this is the social problem, right? Then you ask yourself, okay, this is a problem. So how can my course help change this situation? It is a viable way to start an essay. So you say, okay, if I want to do this, what are the developmental challenge I'm trying to solve? So what would I bring into the table? But before I tell them what I want to bring into the table, I have to make them understand the issue at hand. The only way to make them understand the issue at hand is to draw on indices, right? From acknowledged bodies, WHO, UNESCO, like statistics about, maybe, for example, in Nigeria, about 10.5 children in Nigeria are not in school below 10 years old. Okay, you bring this so you can give them a picture of what is happening. They're not in Nigeria, they don't see what you see. But then for you to make them understand what you see, you have to draw from statistics that they know about, that can be verified, right? You paint the problem and talk about how this problem can also be a global issue. I'll give you a very good trick. Children are actually hawking sachet water. They're not going to school. That means they are poor, right? If they are poor, that means they'll do anything to make ends meet, right? With terrorism going on in Nigeria, they become a good target for terrorist group, which is a global problem, right? So you see, it's a little thing that you notice, but it's a global problem. Now, when you coin this like this, they become very conscious of the fact that children are not going to school. Are you seeing this? So now you have made them understand that this is very timely, important, relevant, and it affects not just me, but also you. Now you have done that. Now, what do you want to do about it is the next question. So, okay, you want to maybe partner with certain NGOs to provide or to rehabilitate public schools and provide free uniforms to children, right? When you do that, how would that directly affect the children? They'll get free studies. Their classroom will be rehabilitated. They'll get maybe free school meals or whatever. Do you understand? What NGO? Why do you want to partner with NGOs? Because this is a community-based problem that requires community-based approach. Now you don't have to tell them they want to go and solve the problem on a national level. Talk about something you know, make it very practical. So even if you're just helping 200 students with your masters, you're doing a lot. Even 50 is a lot, right? Because it's a big problem. And then you're saying, okay, you want to start with this, and then with certain time frame, with the partnership with even Commonwealth itself, because your team is already revolving around partnership, right? With Commonwealth partnership and other partnership, in my case, I use local NGOs, I use national NGOs because I had a little bit of working experience with ECOWAS. I also put them into the mix. Now you have given them the developmental part of the essay. This is a sketch, right? Now you move on. I think after the developmental part is about why you are choosing the school, right? And what course and why you're choosing the school. Now, every school in the UK have a selling point. It's not a new thing. Patrick, you know this and I know this. There are some schools that I think if you're talking about best school in something, your every school must factor in one. So you just have to talk about maybe you are choosing a school because you checked online. There is this professor that is leading in debate about development. Do you get what I mean? You say, okay, I'm picking this school because it will allow me to learn under the tutelage of so and so professor. This professor have done this, which is in line with what I intend to do. And I intend to develop my academic skills, this, while learning under this institution because this institution is maybe one of the best in the world, or you can give like proper ranking numbers, right? Very interesting. Now, the city itself is very diverse with a lot of maybe chance for social networking and partnerships. Like, because if you go to Bristol, for example, there are a lot of organizations you can actually do partnership with while you're in school, right? This will give me first-hand knowledge. Like me, I did a training with DEFRA, which is the Department of Environmental, Food and Something Agency. It's a UK organization. I was able to learn a little bit from them because I was in Bristol, right? And I applied for the PLN networking program. So you can also pick one or two things from there. Then you talk about the course, what you want to do, your research, all those parts. And then you now you have a chance to talk to the school directly without them knowing. It's very easy. You don't need to go and look for a lot of words. You go to, oh my God, you're actually like giving them all the expo. You go to the school, you go to their website where they are announcing about the course. They tell you why the course is so important, right? So make them understand that because they are selling the course to people that will pay for it. So pick their own words, change it, and give them why the school is important to you. You're just it's reverse psychology. Why they are selling to other people, you sell to them the school. They'll be interested to they'll be excited to know that you think so much about the school, right? And then let's leave that part. Then you go to the next part, right? Which is your career within and outside. So these are areas where you talk about how you want to formulate strong partnership. In Africa, we don't talk a lot about networking, and networking is extremely important. And that is what these universities in the UK will help you build. You meet people that are so big, just drinking coffee by the roadside. Like, you meet people in like conferences, you meet people in like symposiums, little things. Even your professor can be like very big in the field. So how would you navigate, or how would you make do with all those networks that you are being availed with, the English language now, that they are providing you with? You talk about how you're going to do that, even partnership with your fellow Commonwealth, your fellow cohorts, and how you intend to build on those partnerships. You cannot go and do everything you want to do in your home country on your own. It is not possible, right? Most times when you find out that there's like for example, there are some grants that people can apply to, people can access. Sometimes you don't get those information on your own. Somebody else can see it and send it to you. You have to talk about your partnership goals, like talk about how you are going to make do with that 1 year they're providing you. You have to think strategically about it, not just about studies. Studies is one thing. Networking is another thing. And making and building relationship with key people is another thing. Aside of all of this, when you come back home, how do you want to start from coming back? How do you want to start? One of the ways people don't really like, one of the things people don't actually talk about is the Commonwealth alumni group. See, when you're talking to Commonwealth or when writing an essay, let them understand that you think you have everything they need, right? So you're not just talking to them about getting there, you're talking to them about after you get there, how you're still going to harness their resources to do what you said you want to do. How you're going to use Commonwealth to bridge gaps. They're going to serve as a gatekeeper between you and relevant organizations. How you want to harness this. That's what you need to do. Then in your long-term career goal, you see that dream, that thing about dreaming big, that is a chance to show them how big you can dream. Because Commonwealth, they're giving you all the money and everything. They also want to know that you have the insight, or you're thinking you're going to be very great. Like, for example, I told them I'm going to be the first female president in Nigeria. Yes, because I believe so. If I end up becoming it, fine. If I don't end up becoming it, fine, but I'm going to work towards things like that. So you can dream, not even necessarily about being the president. Even I told them I'm going to go back to school, my PhD. I'm doing that now already. I told them I'm going to like give back my knowledge through academic going to teaching in universities, publishing papers. I'm already on my way to doing all those things. So I did not lie. But I also said I'm going to be the president, which I'm going to do. But give me time. That is why it's good for you to it's good for you to like tell them your story. Now, outside that, we get to the two important parts, which is your personal essay, your personal statement, and your voluntary and leadership experiences. Now, I'll give you another trick. When you write a personal statement, people think saying that you got a first class and the rest will give you a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. I'll give you a personal story. My first year, I did not get it. But I broke a record of 37 years in Ahmadu Bello University, which is the biggest university in Nigeria. I did not get it. So forget it. It's not only first class that will make you win. I said this. It's true. I was the best in my faculty during my graduation. I still did not get the scholarship. What does that tell you? No, you have to layer it, right? I'm not saying making the getting a first class is a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying that it's not enough. And I'm saying this because it has happened to me before. So I'm in the right position to tell you that having a first class is not enough, and having a 2-1 doesn't really meet your chances. So your personal statements, you have your academic excellence, right? Personal growth, leadership stride in school, and there's one again. I think I'm forgetting it now. Yeah, your luck. I forgot. There are 4 parts of it.
Did a voluntary?
No, that's another essay. You know, your personal statements, you have like 4 parts actually. Talk about like, okay, your story, right? About, for example, where you are from, because where you are from make them understand why. If you are from the north, it makes them understand why maybe issues of terrorism is important to you. Do you get what I mean? If you went through hardship to get your education, it also tells them that you don't have the money to actually go to school abroad without their help. But then again, irrespective of all these things, you got the first class or you got the 2-1. You were top 5% in your school, in your class. You were top 10% in your class. While still going through all those things, you held certain positions because you wanted to develop yourself, not just academically, but for the world outside academics. I don't know if you get what I mean. So you see, while you are doing all those things, you were growing, like you were developing yourself. So you see, they are now going to form a tapestry of layers about you. Now it shows that you're not just a smart person that doesn't know how to use your brain to do other things. You're doing other things, but then even irrespective of all the challenges you have faced, you still did so well. So that's the beauty. Now when you bring out those kind of personal statements, it's now more powerful than someone telling you about how they made the first class from the beginning of the sentence to the end of the sentence. I worked so hard, I did not sleep, I got the first class. I got the first class, I was the best in my faculty, I got the first class. So you got the first class, and so what? Build a story, not just one thing. Build a story. If there's anything you take away from this my conversation today with Patrick, continue, just build a story, have a storyline, have a book and tell your story, and checkmate if the story is in line with what you have laid out as the guidelines in your book. In terms of your voluntary and leadership experience, for those of you that want to apply for scholarship straight out of uni, all the experiences you had in school is enough. For example, I tutored in my department for more than 3 years. That's experience. I was director of publicity. That's experience. I was editor in chief in the school. Oh, I did not leave the school to do anything. It's inside the school there. You know this. In all those what is it called? But those departmental bodies. Those are experiences because you were giving out. What do you say, Patrick?
All the clubs.
Yeah, the clubs. Yeah, but those are experiences, and you are learning. You are giving them your time for free. So it's also volunteering. So what did you learn after doing all those things? Did you learn anything? So during school programs, or maybe even in your church, or even in your church, if you guys go out to maybe help people, that's volunteering. So you don't need anything so big. For those of you guys that have experiences, it makes it easier for you because you have so much more to say. So I think if you weave all these things together, you get a very good draft for your Commonwealth essay. And those are what I no, this is what I did. So if you follow this pattern, you have one leg at the door. I didn't say you have your two legs, so don't quote me anywhere. You have one leg at the door. And I think this is the best hint I could give anyone. So thank you.
Ah, this insight is actually massive. And as I've said already, anybody that would come across this very video, either on YouTube, wherever, is really going to benefit immeasurably. Thank you so much. My key takeaways from what Messi has said so far is the fact that you need to identify a problem. You need to identify a problem. You cannot submit a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship application without identifying a problem and having a clear-cut solution to that problem. And you should be able to connect or weave in how you are going to solve this issue to the SDGs, right? Connecting all these pieces with what the program has to offer, right? And no experience is small experience, irrespective of where you contributed or volunteered or whatever, whether in church, whether in school, wherever, whether you join the community to clean gutters, that is enough experience. It depends on how you tell your story. So according to Mercy Martins, we should tell our story cohesively and coherently. Thank you very much. Now, I want to ask this question. So what are your three key advice, okay, or advices, whichever, that you would give to prospective or people that are looking to submit a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship application in the next phase? What are your three key, three key counsels that you would put out there for them to follow?
Okay, I think
Messi, before then, you never mentioned recommendations, but I know how powerful recommendation letters can really engineer your success. So if you can also touch on the recommendation letters bit, then you can move on to the three key counsel you would like to put it out there for people that are planning to submit a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship application.
Again, as usual, you actually just reminded me of something important, like you always do. But the thing is, recommendation letters or reference letters are very instrumental to your Commonwealth application. I don't think there is any way I can like reiterate how important it is because it is extremely important, right? So most people that I mentor doing Commonwealth scholarship shared scholarship application, when it comes to like recommendation letter, they start to um, get scared because they don't really have a lot of people that they can ask for. So it is very important to build relationships because I can tell you for free that there's a difference between someone writing, I have known so and so person for 4 and so years, they are really good students, they have the, is it emotional stability and academic rigorosity, I don't know, verbosity to complete a master's. That's just, I don't want to say it's trash, but that's just there. It's just like A's for apple, B for ball. You need someone that knows you well enough, right, to write a compelling recommendation letter about you. Someone that can tell them that they have worked with you in so and so, maybe in particular courses and this, and you demonstrated critical thinking abilities in addressing this. Someone that can say, okay, over I was her examination officer for 5 years, and I could see her progress, and how she was always trying so hard to develop herself, and it is reflected in her grades. You need someone to be able to talk about who you are and describe you better than you can describe yourself, especially as it relates to your abilities and capabilities. You cannot get that without good recommendation letters, right? And then that's why it's good to have. So when I started my first application, I was a novice, right? I've not met Patrick and the rest of them. So nobody was helping me. I was on my own. So when they were asking me for recommendation, this is very funny. And people are going to laugh at me, but it's fine. Laugh what you like. I did not know that if you apply for 5 schools, you can use the same recommendation. Like, in Commonwealth, there are 3 reference letters. So one is for academic, professional, personal. But then you can have 2 academic and then 1 personal. You can change anyway. I did not know that you could actually have the same group of people across board, right? I thought with each application, there has to be a different person. So when I made 5 applications, I used 15 people, which was crazy, right? Because I think I was called back for, is it 1 or 2? I can't remember because COVID, that was COVID year, because I got one, but then they rejected me. I don't even know. And then I had to be running around, calling them, 15 people. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. It's Messi, sir. Yes, sir. But now, in retrospect, if I don't have a good relationship with those people, how can I call 15 people over and over again? Some of them had to send me the reference letter. Some of them have to go and ask them to go and get letter-headed paper, change their email address. It is very important to maintain relationships. It is very important. You don't need to call people when you need their help, especially people that have the abilities like your supervisors at the office, your lecturers. Have a good relationship with them because they may be the key to you leaving the country because you can do everything. Let me give you an example. This example is a very bad one. Patrick is aware of it. When I was applying to CSPO, I have done everything. But guess what? My recommendation letter came a day late. Why? The person in question forgot about it. It's true, and that is why I'm in the UK. So if the recommendation letter had come earlier, maybe I'll be in France now. Who knows? But I'm happy it did not come, Sha, because I like where I am. But that's just to tell you the power a recommendation letter have. So this just means that you have to be very, very intentional about keeping relationship. So now, upon that block, I'm going to answer the next question because that was something I was hoping to say in about the advice to give to future applicants. I can't oversay this. Networking is important. And networking means keeping relationships. It's not just about gaining new ones, but also keeping the ones you have before. Do you understand? So before you and your lecturers were students, lecturer, right? That relationship have to metamorphose to graduate lecturer. He's still your teacher, but you're no longer a student. Do you understand? So you have to keep on communicating with them during their birthdays, during holidays, or during like special days. Use LinkedIn. I can't oversay this. You can use LinkedIn to find people that will become very instrumental in your entire life. Make people around you know that you're interested in issues that relates to scholarship so that you can find your way to scholarship communities. That's how I found Patrick, right? Patrick that I found online. I didn't see Patrick for 4 years. But Patrick stayed up one day from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. looking at my essays. I have never met Patrick before. Although I've met him recently because we are in the UK together now. But I'm talking about we had 4 years of friendship without knowing each other, just on the phone because of network and keeping relationships.
Yeah.
You need it. LinkedIn can help you. Scholarship communities online, on WhatsApp, and I think there are some on Telegram, so I'm not sure. They can help you. You go online, you go to YouTube, like Patrick showed now. Like I think he had one of our friend Nasiru, I think last week here. I think it's in Germany, right? Now, these are people that from his page you can highlight that okay, you can go and find them on LinkedIn and follow what they offer and become friends with them. You need to be very smart about networking, right? You need to be very smart about networking. You need to know how to harness people relationship because that's the only way you can get information and free advice, free help. This thing you are doing here is free. That's why I'm very thankful to Patrick. Most people don't have the time because PhD is hard. It's only Patrick that can bring me here at this time. PhD is hard work, but we are here because Patrick asked because of the relationship he has with me, which was because of networking. Which goes to the second point: ask for help. You can't do it on your own. ask for help. And when you want to ask for help, don't be rude about it. I say this because I've spoken to Patrick a number of times about this, and we have had a lot of conversations about this. You can't be rude. And there are people that are spoiling the road for others. I have most people that come to your DM for for like help on their scholarship application can start to sexually intimidate you or sexually make you feel uncomfortable, right? Because there's no reason why you're in my DM or in my page asking me for help and I'm trying to help you and you're telling me about and you're not you start to sexualize my appearance. Now it will make me very, very scared to help others. So you have to understand that through your actions or your inactions, you're either helping the future people ahead of you or closing doors. And then you cannot just send someone a message and say, I'm going to apply for scholarship. I want you to help me review my essays. You're not paying me. And I have my own life. So people feel like because you have a scholarship or because you identify as someone that is enjoying a scholarship, then you should, because you identify as someone that has a scholarship, then maybe you should, how will I put it? You should help people for free or you should help people whenever they want you to help people. I want to help you. Patrick wants to help you. But I think it's your approach to receiving that help that matters. Do you understand? You should be able to like make people understand that okay, please, I'm going to be applying for a scholarship, and I have seen that you got this scholarship before. I'll really be grateful if you have enough time to look at my essays and because I know you'll be able to provide me better insight. You know, something like this. I sent Patrick the first essay I sent to Patrick. It took me 30 minutes to craft because I knew that I don't know this guy from anywhere, but I wanted him to help me, right? Because I already know that he had won 7 scholarship of Commonwealth. I was like, this is the only guy I need. But I sat down, and the way I sent him the message later on, he told me he was compelled to respond to me because of the way I drafted the message. So ask for help, but be very intentional and very considerate when you ask for help so that you don't piss people off because people are helping you and it's not like it's your right or something. That's wrong. And lastly, because Patrick said 3 advice, we talk about networking and help. Lastly, time. Don't let anybody pressure you that you don't have time. Most of us apply for 2, 3 years before getting a scholarship. I think Patrick, I don't know if it's Patrick applied for 3 years or so. Then all of a sudden, he started getting lots of scholarship and he was rejecting them. Patrick rejected up to 10 scholarships. But there was a time when he wasn't getting even one. I also got rejected too. Do you understand? And now I'm doing my PhD. My PhD is also on a scholarship. So there's always everybody have their own time. So don't let anybody make you feel like because you have applied 2, 3 times and you didn't get in, or you can never get in, you will get in. When it is your time, I can assure you, you will get in. And from watching this video, it's already your time. Because for you to have come to this YouTube page, it is your time and you'll get in. I'm very sure of that. But then don't quote me anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was a phenomenal way to round up on our conversation today. My key takeaway from what you have said is the fact that when you are asking for recommendation letters, not recommendation letters, sorry, when you're asking for help with regards to, seeking someone to guide you through the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship application, be very kind, be considerate, and most importantly, be nice, right? Thank you so much. And then the last part, which is very, very instrumental, is the fact that in your recommendation letters, your recommenders must provide context-specific examples of your capabilities and everything about you. They shouldn't just say you are hardworking and you are very good and you're an excellent student. That is not enough, right? They should give examples, practical examples. What makes you a hardworking person and all that. All that context makes your recommendation letter very strong, solid, compelling, and it's able to add weight to your entire to the strength of your entire application. So thank you very much. There is a question from someone. However, I think it has been addressed already. You can reach out via LinkedIn, and I can provide more context or more like a better response to your question. However, we have come to the end of today's session or episode. Miss Martins, we are really, really grateful. And as I've already mentioned, and I'm reiterating again, you have provided us with profound insight about the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, which people that will come through my YouTube channel would really benefit and would help them to also be able to ace their scholarship application. So thank you very much. I believe this advice is not even just for Commonwealth, even for other scholarship, it may apply. So thank you very much.
I think as a way of ending, I just want to say that while the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship is really like prestigious and in my opinion is the best, there are also other scholarships, right? And I think, if I'm correct, I think next week we're having someone talk about the university scholarship over here in the platform. So while you're applying for Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, you can also apply to other scholarship. And Patrick has actually done a good job in curating a list of people to have conversations with about different scholarship, right? So my PhD scholarship is a university sponsored scholarship. So there are also this kind of scholarship, and so I think by like going through his page, you can actually get a lot of ideas and inspirations of on various scholarships to apply for, and make your application to be multifaceted, not just to one particular institution. And hopefully you will get in. I'm very sure of that. So thank you everyone for listening. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much, Patrick. I'm really grateful, and thank you so much for all you do, especially to most of us, because you're actually a mentor to many of us, and we are really grateful to have you.
Humble.
And thank you so much. Yeah.
I'm humbled, and thanks for coming on my show. Really grateful. So yes, as Messi has rightfully said, we have a series of programs outlined for you, and do well to visit my YouTube channel as often as you can, and you would carry away great load of insights that would help you to back a scholarship real quick or real soon. And we are rooting for you. All the best, and bye.
Bye for now.